Good day to you and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to break down one of my most recent mixes, a song I produced called Should Be Fine for an artist called Meli. She's very talented, superbly guitar player and has got an interesting Instagram and YouTube feed. You should really check all of that out. Anyway, I'm going to show you all the parts that make up the arrangement as well as some of the most useful and impactful plugins that I used on the mix. So let's dive into the song. At the start of the track, there's an arpeggio guitar running through IK Multimedia's Amplitude with both a Fender amp simulator and a Leslie rotary speaker simulator mixed together within the plugin, and I then added some stereo delay from the trusty Waves H delay plugin. From memory, that was recorded on one of my 2-pickup Suit Pro guitars through the IK Multimedia Z-Tone DI box. And it sounds absolutely great. There are 4 synth basses in total, but only 2 of them run through the whole song. The first of which is bass main, the second of which is bass sine. So let's have a listen to those 2 now. Bass main is generated by IK Multimedia's Syntronic 2 plugin. And then I parallel mix some distortion using Cubase's Destroyer plugin, which has built-in oversampling. The sine bass comes courtesy of Retrolog 2, which is built into Cubase. You might not be able to hear it that well if you're listening on a phone or a tablet, but it does carry some nice clean sub. When they're mixed together, they work together really well. They've got a nice solid bottom end, but then they've got enough harmonics on the top end that you're still going to hear what the note is through a phone or an iPad or something like that. As well as the basses, there's also this octave synth. The first one is cleaner and is actually the sound that Meli used on her demo of it. And the second one is a little bit more distorted, so it kind of stands out in the mix when other elements come in, and they're kind of mixed in different amounts throughout the song. The vocals were recorded with a Rode K2 microphone. I tried a few and the K2 came out on top, so let's have a listen.
Came on my way, just like a blur, at least it has a name. I call him my curse, almost put out the flame.
The mic itself had quite a lot of character, so I wanted a nice clean compressor to keep it in the mix, and the Waves RVox does the job beautifully. I used a free vocal doubler plugin as well, which sounds great. To get rid of pops and clicks in the vocal, I used the RXD click plugin over the whole group of vocals. I also used the IK Multimedia Saturator X.
I call him my curse.
Little bit of multiband compression from the Waves C4.
Just like a blur, at least it has a name. I call him my curse.
Reverb and spatial stuff from the Valhalla Supermassive plugin, which is free, and the mix knob gets automated depending on how much I want at what point in the song. And then finally it all gets leveled off a bit with the UAD LA2A silver compressor.
Almost put out the flame, won't hear you for a while. Guess I'm the one to blame, think we should close the file.
And at the most vulnerable moments I put on this EQ, which just makes it sound a little bit more hollow and a little bit more eerie.
It should be fine.
The beat is from Meli's original demo, and I used a CLA2A by Waves over it just to give it a bit more punch, and I also sidechained it off to a gate, which was over a 45 Hz sine wave, which just added in a little bit more bottom end when you heard the kick drum. If you've got speakers that go low enough, you should be able to hear that now.
Almost put out the flame. Won't hear you for a while. Guess I'm the one to blame. Think we should close the file.
I should also point out that there's a global reverb, the pure plate reverb by Universal Audio, that the drums and the vocals and some other bits and pieces send to. And this is one of my favourite reverb plugins of all time. Anyway, on to the chorus. As well as the beat, there's a hi-hat, which is running through a stereo delay where the left-hand side isn't affected at all and the right-hand side is just moved by 5 milliseconds. And there's also a shaker, which is provided by Shereen, by Waves Factory. It's a software instrument, and they just add that extra bit of movement to the drums in the choruses and heavier areas. Also on the heavier sections, you've got the 2 extra basses, starting with the bass fizz punch, which also has a phaser over it. It doesn't have the distortion of the bass main. And then you've got bass phase fizz, which has the phaser and the distortion and a lot of the low end cut out. And it's also heavily compressed on a sidechain with the kick and the snare, so you can feel it ducking every time there's a kick and a snare. And when you put all the basses in together, you can really hear that ducking, but it's not happening in the low sine, and it's not happening as much in the bass main. But when you hear it with the beat, it all makes sense. In the chorus, there are 4 vocals.
It should be fine.
The first 2 vocals are the same, they're just the lead vocal doubled.
It should be fine. It should be fine.
And if you listen to vocals 3 and 4, they're the octave up and the octave down. The octave down is quite distorted.
It should be fine. It should be.
But when you blend them together in the mix, they sound absolutely fabulous. Before we get onto the exciting stuff, and by exciting stuff, of course, I mean guitars, I should point out there's an arpeggiator which has been generated by a software synth built into Cubase, and that's compressed with the LA2A by Universal Audio, the silver one. And there's also a piano in the background which just gives some percussion and drama to the whole thing, and that's the Waves Factory Mercury piano, which I think sounds excellent. I'd highly recommend it. So with the Power Chords track, we've got Bark turning in his grave. It's an open wire parallel fifths fest, and it sounds really menacing. This guitar was in a drop tuning, It was doubled, then those doubles were panned left and right, and it just really fattens up the choruses. And after the vocals, there's the slide guitar played by my Aussie Floyd bandmate Luke. It's doubled, panned left and right, and it's a lovely way to finish off the chorus. Production-wise, the second verse is very similar to the first verse, so we'll just have a listen through without me talking.
But let me sing it to you now. No matter for how long, I say bring on the flame, only to shut you down. Silence will find its way, and from the depths will climb.
We introduce a harmony at this point.
It should be fine. It should be fine.
And eagle ear listeners will have also heard the sine wave that goes on in the background of this breakdown.
Right down the wave. It should be fine.
And the second chorus is pretty similar to the first chorus, only it's got some extra harmonies. The middle eight has a couple of guitars that are panned left and right, and it's got some vocals sung in harmony on the same tracks that you've seen before. There's also a new drum loop that comes in underneath that, and at the end the vocals are sent off into delay hell with the waves H delay. And onto the solo. Again, it uses amplitude 5, and it's finished off with a touch of H delay. I believe it was played on my PRS Custom 22. I don't have a photo of that to hand. And she did a fantastic job. Let's have a listen without me talking over it. Then at the end you get this answer vocal that we had some discussions about. Me and Meli went back and forward with several mixes. I don't think I was distorting it enough, and she was worried it was too distorted, but then I really went for it and just whacked it through amplitude 5, put loads of delay over it and let it trail out at the end, and we both agreed that that did sound best. So here's the ending. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I very much enjoyed working on this song. All the links to Meli's video and her channels and everything are in the description. If you like it, give me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.